Hey guys, James here. Today I'm going to be reviewing this 56 volt blower by Ego. What you'll see in this video is I'll show you what's in the box, I'll show you the tool being used in action, and then I'll come back and tell you a little bit about some of the functions and features and how I think it's performed. Alright, so getting started, this is the blower itself. It comes out of the box with this attachment for the blower. So two separate pieces and this extension arm basically just drops in and locks into position and you're good to go. Battery, you get a 2.5 amp hour battery along with their charger, and that's pretty much it, ready to go. So let's see it being used and then we'll come back and do a bit of a close-up.
That's more powerful, eh? And it's lighter too.
Yeah?
It's got more of a blow, man. It's hell swift, yeah, like that.
Quite powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Compared to the petrol powered one. Yeah, has that got much power or?
Yeah, a little bit. You're not covering an area like that, eh? No. Yeah.
And that's noisy. Quite powerful, this thing. You can see just the residual leaves and some of the sticks that are left over from the guys that cut the trees. It has no problem in blowing some of those smaller sticks out of the way as well too, as well as the leaves. So I've been pretty bloody impressed with how powerful this thing is. Even the boys out the front that were doing the tree cleaning, you know, couldn't get over how powerful this was for such a small battery operated unit. You know, they had their big petrol powered still machine and it was noisy and it wasn't even giving as much of a blowout as what this thing was. So anyway, I'll finish up, show you guys blowing out some of these leaves down the gutter here, and then we'll go and we'll have a closer look at some of the specs and tell you a little bit more about how I think it's performed. All right, let's do it. Another good thing with this is because it's only got the low trigger and the turbo, you can just use the light one for dusting things off. So that way if you don't want to create a lot of dust, you can just give it a light dusting. To give you an idea of how powerful this thing is, take a closer look at the edge of this road up here where the dirt overlaps onto the actual road. You know, look, anything can sort of blow leaves, but to show you how powerful it is, this will actually blow some of the soil and some of the dust and dirt off the edge of the road. Take a bit of a close-up look at the machine. At the back here you've got the injection button, so when you clip down on that, batteries pop out. I actually like how that's spring-loaded. Same feature throughout all their range of tools. This side of the unit we've got a little shoulder strap so you can basically hook something up. Didn't actually come with one in the unit, so I know there's one in the whipper snipper and I'm not sure if it's supposed to be interchangeable, but interesting that they've got the strap there, but it doesn't come with this unit anyway. So you've got a standard trigger at the bottom, and when you pull that, that gives you the low speed. And then the button at the top is their turbo. Now when you press the turbo, you obviously get the higher speed. Now holding it by itself, it won't work. You need to pull the trigger in and the top. This thing's got so much power, when you pull them together you feel it push back. Now on the low setting, you'll see here at the front, you've got a variable speed. So when you're just pulling the trigger here, so that's got some adjustment in there. Comes with a 2.5 amp hour battery standard in this kit, but there are other range of batteries in the Ego line, and you can go from 2.5, I think they have a 4 amp hour, a 6 amp hour I believe, and then you've also got their latest one here, which is a 7.5 amp hour. Now this thing is an absolute beast. You'll see me review this separately a little bit later on, but it's just to show the options that can actually come with this. And the 7.5 will fit onto this, no problem at all. Now with the charge time on the 2.5, you're looking at 50 minutes from 0 to a full charge, so that's not too bad. And the good thing about their batteries, you'll see here in the base, they have what they call a little cooling port in there, so it's a little bit of a wire mesh, so there's no chance of these actually overheating. So they've thought that through with the design of these batteries, which is quite unique. And runtime, it'll get you 10 minutes on the full turbo boost, so if you're holding the trigger down and giving it the full blast, you should be able to get about 10 minutes out of the actual unit itself, which is a fair bit if you're just using it constantly. On the low speed, on the low trigger, you'll get about 23 minutes approximately. Low high, which is the bottom trigger on the higher setting. And then if you've got it on the lower setting, very low, I think it's about 50 odd minutes. No, 75 minutes, so there you go. Very, very low speed with that flipped over and just pulling the trigger. 70 something odd minutes of that. And as far as air velocity coming out of this thing, high speed on boost will be coming out of the massive 176 kilometers an hour out of this thing. So it's quite a lot of air being pushed out there at high speed. I think on low you're down, or medium low you're down about 136 kilometers an hour, and then the very lowest speed is about 80 odd kilometers an hour roundabouts. Air volume, what it pushes out on the high boost, you can see there it says 900 meters cubed per hour. I'm assuming that's 900 cubic meters per hour. I know it seems like a lot, but you know, coming out 176 kilometers an hour, you know that's pretty bloody fast. And you saw me there blowing some of that dirt just off the side of the road. That's mud that's actually been caked in down along the edges. So to have the power to actually lift that up off the bitumen and push it across, you know this thing is bloody powerful. And even just using it on high speed, you feel it just pull back on your arm. So yeah, I'm very, very impressed with this little number by Ego. So there you go, that's some of the functions and features and everything else. Now how's it performed? Really well. So I was quite impressed with the power from this thing. Not only is it a unit that you can be using for gardening, but for me this is more job site cleanup. I've used this on roof projects, and you saw in some of those clips there, I was just blowing down the roof for a bit of a tidy up. If I'm on a corrugated roof and we're doing some cutting and there's like shavings of metal, I'll quite often get the blower out, blow that off so they don't go there overnight and actually just like rust out some of the old corrugated iron. So it's handy for roof work, it's handy just for job site cleanup. If you're doing a lot of cutting and there's sawdust and stuff laying around, at the end of the day just sort of blow it all off and clean the whole side out. It really makes good for that type of thing. So for me, it'll probably be getting more of a workout on site than what it will in the actual garden. And as far as professional guys go, you saw again in the clips the other guys from Greater Sydney Tree Service, they were out there sort of using it to blow down the road, and they were blown away by how powerful this thing was compared to what they had with their little steel petrol powered one. Not only did they have the noise, but it wasn't even getting as anywhere a good result as what this thing was. So I'm blown away just by the battery power that it had. So I think battery technology is coming a long way. Like I said, they've got the big 7.5 amp hour now, which I'll actually do a separate review on and talk a little bit more in detail about. But as far as an all-round tool goes and a blower compared to some of the other majors, this thing is really good. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Check out some of our social media links below in the comments, and follow along and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers guys, take care.